By my mid-30s, it felt like everyone else got the map. And I didn't. It wasn't loud panic. It was quiet. The kind that sits with you even when nothing is wrong. By the time I turned 35, I felt completely out of sync with almost everyone I knew. Friends were getting married, buying homes, sharing baby photos, and posting job promotions like life was moving exactly the way it was supposed to. And me? I was still dragging myself to a job that drained me, still unsure of where I was going, still feeling like I missed some important step everyone else seemed to understand. I remember one night sitting alone, scrolling through pictures from a friend's baby shower. Everyone looked happy, settled, sure. And I felt this cold wave move through me. Not jealousy exactly, more like fear. It felt like I had somehow failed my 20s without realizing it was happening. Like I missed my exit on the highway years ago and just kept driving because I didn't know where else to go. That night, I looked in the mirror and saw someone who looked tired in a way sleep couldn't fix. Someone who felt stuck in a life that didn't feel like theirs. And that's when I realized something had to change, even if I had no idea how. My regrets didn't start at 35. They started much earlier, back when I was trying to figure out who I was supposed to be. When it was time to choose what to study, I loved stories, art, and understanding people. But I was told to pick something practical, something safe, so I chose business. It made sense on paper. It made everyone feel comfortable. But deep down, it never felt like me. After graduating, I did what I thought I was supposed to do. I got a stable job. I worked hard. I showed up every day. From the outside, everything looked fine. But inside, it felt empty. Like I was watching someone else live my life. The days started to blur together. Meetings, emails, deadlines, repeat. I kept telling myself this was just how adulthood worked, that everyone felt this way, and you just pushed through it. But the truth was, I wasn't building anything that felt meaningful to me. I was just staying busy. The hardest part wasn't the work itself. It was the feeling that I was slowly becoming someone I didn't recognize. And leaving felt impossible. I had bills, responsibilities, and fear sitting quietly in the background, reminding me how risky change could be. So I stayed longer than I should have. And years passed faster than I expected. The turning point wasn't dramatic. It didn't look like a movie scene. It was just a quiet night when I couldn't ignore the feeling anymore. I realized I had been living based on what I thought I should do instead of what I actually wanted. That realization was scary because it meant I had to take responsibility for my choices. But it was also freeing because it meant I could choose differently. I stopped blaming my younger self. The person I was back then made the best decision they could with what they knew. Instead of calling those years wasted, I started seeing them as lessons. Expensive lessons, maybe, but lessons that taught me what didn't feel right. I began making small changes. I looked at my expenses. I started saving more. I gave myself room to think about what I actually enjoyed. I tried things just to see how they felt. Writing, learning new skills, exploring interests I had ignored for years. None of it felt like a big breakthrough at first, but it felt like movement. And movement felt better than staying stuck. While I was figuring things out, I also had to face another truth. My life had become smaller than I wanted to admit. Work stress and exhaustion had slowly pulled me away from people. I spent more time alone than I meant to. Watching others build families and relationships made the silence feel louder. There were times I stayed in relationships that weren't too right, just because I was afraid of being alone. But being with the wrong person only made the loneliness worse. Eventually, I realized something important. Being alone isn't the same as being lost. Sometimes being alone gives you the space to finally hear yourself clearly. The biggest shift happened when I stopped comparing my timeline to everyone else's. I realized life isn't a single race with one finish line. Everyone is moving at different speeds toward different things. Once I accepted that, the pressure started to fade. I began focusing less on where I thought I should be, and more on what felt true for me. I learned to say no more often. No to things that drained me. No to expectations that didn't fit my life. I started doing things simply because I enjoyed them. Spending time on interests I had ignored. Taking small risks. Letting myself explore without needing everything to make sense right away. And slowly, I started to feel more like myself again. Not a perfect version, just a real one. That's when I understood something simple but powerful. I hadn't fallen behind. I had just been on a different path. Looking back now, the feeling of being left behind came from believing there was only one correct way to live. But life doesn't work like that. Every experience, even the ones that felt like mistakes, gave me something I needed. Strength, clarity, patience, perspective. I stopped seeing my past as wasted time and started seeing it as preparation. My life doesn't look like what I imagined when I was younger, and that's okay. It feels more honest now. If you feel like everyone else has moved on, and you're still trying to figure things out, you're not alone, and you're not late. You're just living your story at your own pace. And sometimes, the strongest people are the ones who take longer, because they're building something real. You don't need to rush. You don't need to compare. You just need to keep moving forward, even if the steps are small. Because the truth is, there is no perfect timeline. There is only your life, unfolding one decision at a time. And that is enough.